is good, guys? Welcome back to my channel with me, The Sickle Diary, and as you can tell by the title of this video, it's about to be a crazy story time, honey. So how about I do not explain, and how about I just get into the story so you can find out what I went up to. So before I actually play this clip, I'm just going to give you a little rundown. So this first appointment I went to was a CT scan for my chest, my abdomen and my pelvis. As you know, I had explained to you in my previous video that I have been going through a lot of stomach pains and I have lost a bunch of weight. So my doctors had scheduled an appointment for me to be seen at King's to have a CT scan done. So as you can tell, I was all ready for my appointment. Now, before I had even found where I had to go, best believe I was running around the hospital like a madman. Now, they had asked me to do several blood tests before I even had my scan done. And during this time, when I got there, I had a whole half an hour before my appointment. While I was sitting to get my bloods, well, while I was waiting to get my bloods taken, I had not been called once. My number, it had not even reached, let's say, 10 numbers up to get to mine. And as I'm waiting, the time is just going and going. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to have to miss getting my bloods done. And I'm just going to have to go to my appointment, because on the letter it says if I am more than 5 minutes late, they will not see me. And I really just wanted to get to the bottom of what this problem was. I ran across to the x-ray department and I run over to the CT department and I knock on the door and I'm like, oh, I have an appointment here. They're like, what's your name? I give them my name, I give them my letter. And then they're like, oh, you have to go outside. So there's this gigantic van that sits right in front of, like, when you walk through the gates of King's College Hospital, it sits right there. Now, it's been there for years. Never been in there. Didn't know what it was. Honestly, did not know what it was. So now I have a minute to get to my appointment and I am running. And while I'm running now, I've got people saying, you can't run through the hospital, which I understand, you're not supposed to. But as I had explained, if I don't make my appointment, I don't get seen. And I make it there now. I knock on the door. Then they have me waiting past my appointment time. But you know what? I was there on time. Nobody can tell me nothing. Someone was already being seen and I had to wait for them to finish anyways. So I go in, they check my temperature, which I had to give them a warning. I was running. So if it came up high, that's why. But they were still very... But luckily, temperature was low, as you know, because for some reason, sicklers are... their body temperature is very weird. I don't know if that might just be me. But yeah, I've noticed sicklers, their temperatures can be quite low sometimes. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys suffer from low temperatures? Like, does your body pick up different temperatures outside than normal people? So they've checked my temperature and they're about to give me the dye for the CT scan. Now, I had asked them, because I had missed my blood test, if I could go and get my blood test after my CT scan. To which my nurse, who was taking the bloods from me, then said to me, oh, well, we might have to stop this. And I'm like, well, I didn't want to be late for my appointment. I can't be referred again. I would prefer to just do the CT scan. She had explained to me that it takes 48 hours for the dye to fully leave my system. Otherwise, it would affect my blood test results. So I knew I was going to have to come back again to get my bloods done. So after all of that, she puts the line in and I'm just sitting there waiting. I have to wear the gown and I'm just chilling, just chilling. Finally get into the room now for where I'm about to have my CT scan, and she is prepping the dye. I will add all my clips. And as we're laying there, then they say to me, oh, did you have bloods done? Now, I actually got my bloods done through my GP before, The same day they called me to tell me that they had my results and everything waiting, but I was waiting for the doctor to call me. The doctor was supposed to call me at 2 o'clock. My appointment was at 1:45. I don't remember. I think it was, yeah, it was at 1:45. It was at 1:45. And all now, I hadn't heard from my doctor. It's touching 2 o'clock. So I said, yeah, I went and had my blood test done a few days ago. The results have already come in. I have the text message. None of my bloods was recorded on file. My GP did not put them up there for my CT scan. Now, the main reason I had to have the blood test before the CT scan was so that when I had the dye done, they would know what my kidneys were saying. Was it safe to continue to do the scan? No, my GP didn't do any of that. Okay, there's more. Yeah, my GP, I was so disappointed, but I'll get to that. So now I'm just laying there, and then she goes, oh, well, we might have to stop. You're gonna have to get up and sit on the chair. So I did that. And then they was like, right, we've got to get a phlebotomist down. We're gonna have to test it. We'll do a quick prick of the finger and we'll test and see if your kidneys are okay. So the blood test guy, the phlebotomist, comes down with everything, and then they remember, oh, she has a lining. Let's just draw blood from there. So they draw blood from the line that's in my arm, and then I hear something drop and smash. And then all I hear is, oh, her blood is everywhere. I'm sorry, what now? All you were supposed to do was line me up, put me in the machine, stuff dye in me, and then let me out. That was it. That was all I was supposed to go through. Now, I've got 2 nurses walking up and down in my blood. Then they have to draw more blood from me. And as I am sitting there, I kid you not, I hear the nurse tell this phlebotomist, oh, just use that sheet there so you can test it. The phlebotomist then goes, oh, that's dirty. I don't think I can use that one. Why did you bring a dirty test strip to test my blood? Why would you bring it? That is unsanitary. That is just disgusting. That's just outright disgusting. Now, I've already then went, I'm sorry, dirty. And then he goes, oh, I'll have to go back upstairs and get more sheets. Because they had already messed up the first few because my blood went everywhere. And then he just had one sitting in the tub. I don't know whose it was, don't know where it's been. At least he didn't have to touch me. But that's pretty much dangerous. Imagine they put my blood on that, checked it, and something was wrong. But that's because the sheet was flipping dirty. So he goes now. And while the nurse is cleaning up, I'm just laying there thinking, well, this is freaking brilliant. This is great. Alright, it's already now after 2 o'clock. I've not been able to eat nothing. I wasn't allowed to drink, I think it was. One of the two. But I was already irritated. Hadn't heard from a doctor. I should have been in and out. A CT scan takes 5 minutes. I was there for over an hour. An hour. Okay, so I was irritated. Finally, the phlebotomist comes back, and he then decides that he's got the new strips and that we're going to draw more blood because my vial has somewhat now gone missing. So there's just a vial of my blood somewhere in King's, which no one can still explain to me now. As you can tell, I had the nervous itch because it gets me so irritated. So yeah, no one could tell me where my vial of blood was. So they take more blood from me. He then finally gets to test it and everything is a-okay, which is good, and I'm glad everything was okay. But wow, it took that long just to find out everything was okay. Finally get to go into the machine now and pretty much go through it. Now, I'd have to say, the whole experience, apart from the tiring part, the dye was the most weirdest sensation I have ever felt in my life. Honestly, it felt like someone was running deep heat all through my body. Very weird way to explain it, but that's honestly how I felt. And then as I was feeling this heat run through my body, as it got to my legs, I don't care, mate, I felt like I needed to pee. At one point, I swear, I fully was just like, yo, like, like, no, it was weird. Yeah, it was just, it was I didn't know a dye, sorry, contrast dye could heat you up like that. That's the first time I've ever had to get dye injected into me. I've never had to drink the fluid. I've never ever had the dye apart from that time I basically did the CT scan. So that was a weird experience for me. But a part of me kind of wish that I could have that all the time. Not injected in me. I'm not into things like that. But I mean, if I could be heated up like that when I'm really cold, that would be brilliant. Just not the feeling like you need to go to the bathroom, because mate, that was a very weird sensation. That was a very weird sensation. So after that is all done, said and done now, I then finally get to leave, and then they tell me they'll give me my results. I was already kind of irritated by the fact that, one, I hadn't heard from my doctor, and two, I was very drained from the amount of blood I had taken from me, whereas I was supposed to have only something flushed into my system. Instead, I was drawn out and then the dye was added. So yeah, I was quite tired, quite drained, quite irritated. I then call the doctors because all now it's after 2 o'clock and I've not heard from my doctor, and I want to know what my results are because I'm genuinely concerned for my health. I'm going to insert a clip explaining how that conversation went. What's good, guys? I'm filming from a train right now because it is peak. It is actually peak. The madness I went through just to get a CAT scan, it literally took me half an hour when it should have taken me 5 minutes. 5 minutes, yeah. Doesn't help that my sickle cell is now playing up because they've taken so much blood from me in the last space of 3 days. And I just got a phone call to find out that I've got to get more bloods taken from me now because they didn't take the right ones in the first place. So on top of already losing weight, I have the shakes right now because they took so much blood. And even though they took bare blood, they refused to take that blood and get it tested. So I don't have to come back all the way to Kings tomorrow, but I have to. So literally this week has been nothing but hospital visits and foolishness, basically. So I'm really irritated. I'm really, really irritated. So I'm going to probably just leave it here and film when I get to see my friend Meeks, and I'll get back to you because I'm really, really angry. Really angry. In a bit, guys. So, yeah. Turns out that my GP won. Now, before I actually say something, this was not my usual GP I talked to. This is a GP who has seen me before, who supposed to know I have sickle cell because I have seen him when my regular GP wasn't in. But he sent me for the wrong tests completely. To the point that my GP, the GP that I had been seeing, had asked me, do I have sickle cell? He went, oh, you have sickle cell trait, right? You definitely have sickle cell trait. I put it on the form. No, I don't. I have sickle cell anemia. I've been coming to you for over 10 years, seeing you more than several times, and you've put in, I've got sickle cell trait. Okay. Half of the things I needed to be tested for, like my kidneys, my liver, basically everything, I was not checked for. All I was checked for was iron. I was wondering why my results came back so quick. But yeah, that's why. And then when I complained, I was told that I just need to calm down and that everything will be sorted. Now, I'm sorry, but during this whole pandemic with the whole hospitals, now I am not about to put down no nurses because they've worked their asses off. Yeah, some doctors as well, they really worked their asses off during this pandemic. But I'm sorry, for things like the GP and my special hematology care that I go to for my sickle cell, you're slacking. I had to really hold it back there. You are actually slacking. I have something that I have to get checked regularly for. I need to see the doctor to explain what I'm going through. When I have a crisis, I need to make sure that a doctor has seen me physically, because when it comes to having to apply for benefits in this country, they do not believe me unless I have it written down that I was able to get to the doctors to be seen. Now, I am due to be reviewed next year, mind you, and I was extremely sick and I was unable to get to the hospital. Now, I bet you any money, when I have to be reviewed next year, they're going to take all my benefits away, considering I am legally not allowed to work in this country, by the way, because my sickle cell is so severe. They will then take my benefit from me because I've been unable to see any doctors. Now, I can explain that we went through a pandemic. They should know this. They don't care. So my GP could not understand why I was so angry at that mistake, because this is my health and it's hard enough trying to be seen by the hospital instead of these stupid telephone calls I keep getting. Which reminds me, I don't even want to let you know what happened with my telephone call with my hematologist, mate. But anyways, I will get to that. So yeah, I was really angry. Oh, you have sickle cell anemia. Oh, I see. You don't have to go home with no illness. You don't have to live with it. You are a doctor. You're supposed to know these things, but you're sending me for the wrong blood test. But yeah, if I was to turn around and get real irate and in your face because my healthcare is being taken not so seriously, I would be the one in the wrong. But if I was to drop down and die, they would look at my mum and tell me, oh, there wasn't much we could do. Anywho, so yeah, I got mad. After that, I ended up going to see my friend Meeks. I did not film the rest of the day because I really needed to calm down and I needed to go through over the events that I went through, because that was a very tiring day for me, a very tiring day. So that was a lot. And then shortly, a few days later, I had my procedure for my endoscopy. I will fill you in after these few clips.
I'm in the hospital, guys. It's pretty seriously quiet in here. I'm not trying to look like an idiot while I'm filming because it's dead quiet in here and it's just me one by myself. I am nervous. I am so nervous. But this is going to be a breeze. The moment I'm relaxed and sedated, I probably won't feel anything. So, I'm in here. I have to talk really quiet because the people. Getting ready to get put to sleep. Kind of sedated. And hopefully we'll find out the results soon, guys. I don't know if you'll be even able to hear me, so I might have to put up subtitles at this part. I am bricking it, peeps. Like, I'm fully bricking it. But I got this. It's gonna be good. We're strapped. Ready. Why is it, though? Every time I get flushed, my blood just instantly goes straight up the thing. But yeah, I'm bricking it. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to get it done, over with, and find out what's going on with me.
So, as you can see, I've explained to you guys that I'm supposed to be getting sedated. I was extremely nervous. I had to do that by myself. I didn't have my mum with me, who's usually there. You know, she's my little guardian angel, my little rock that helps me stay kind of sane and safe when I have to have things like those kind of little procedures done. So it was a bit nerve-wracking to have to do it by myself, but it's probably the new normal now. So I'm going to have to get used to operations, things like procedures being done, and I have to do it by myself. But anywho, the nurse that dealt with me, he was absolutely lovely. He was a darling to me. Made me feel very comfortable, explained that I couldn't drink, I couldn't eat, so I had an empty stomach, but because I have sickle cell, I had to drink water. It was a warm day and I didn't want to be dehydrated, so I had to sip, and I mean sip slow on water, because my appointment was for 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, the day before my birthday, mind you. So as I'm waiting to be taken to the room, I wouldn't call it theatre because it's not surgery, I'm already uncomfortable with my, we'll call him a surgeon. I don't know what you're supposed to call them. But he was very rush. We got to do everything now. Now, I weren't late. My doctor was late. My nurses weren't late, but my doctor was late. But he's rushing me. Okay, so you already know that's already made me feel uncomfortable. That would already make you feel uncomfortable, and you already know that this is about to go way left. So anyways, I have to go through the consent form, and they have to explain to me the risks, what may not happen, that I cannot sue. I'm happy to know this. I'm happy to do this, so on, so forth. So I've got my line in, everything's attached, everything's plugged in. Then I hear the doctor that's about to put the camera down my throat say, okay, we're just going to give her some throat spray. No. I asked for sedation. I asked for sedation so that I would be calmer and that I wouldn't, what's the word without being too gross? I wouldn't bring anything up. I'll do this because I'm sure you know what I mean. But yeah, I didn't want to throw up. So at this point now, the nurse is going, okay, yep, we know we're going to give you sedation. We're going to do that before we put the numbing cream in, because they still have to do this numbing spray just to make sure that my throat won't be sore with the camera. Now, the nurses, they were lovely. They were lovely. This doctor, surgeon, whatever you want to call him, guy, after I have the throat spray, comes up to me and he puts the thing around your mouth to keep your mouth open, and with no warning, and I mean no warning, he shoves this camera down my throat to the point that I'm so taken back by it, I have lost breath. And it wasn't till they realized, oh my days, like, she's not really breathing properly, like the shock of it, is then when they gave me the sedation, to the point that the nurse actually had to say, you know, we need to stop. And I can tell that the doctor was pretty irritated by that, because the huffing, the puffing, the way he was slamming down things, it was like I just wanted to go home. Now, I understand that hospital appointments and everything have to be moved a bit differently now, but you are a doctor about to do a procedure on someone who has explained they've done this before, they are extremely nervous and is expecting sedation, but you've come with an aggressive attitude. Like, I had to make a complaint at that, because I'm sorry, why did you stick me with a flipping needle if you were only going to give me the numbing spray and ram a camera down into my stomach? And to make matters worse, because he had rammed this thing down my throat so vigorously, or roughly, shall we say, I could feel the camera literally hitting across my rib cage or whatever is in there. Yeah, I could feel it. It was painful. It was really painful. So once it was done, then he explained we couldn't get enough. We couldn't get enough like results from you to really see, but you have some extreme swelling. Excuse me. You have extreme swelling. So in my head, I'm thinking that's probably because you rammed the fucking camera down my throat the way you did. But I already knew that my stomach was actually quite bad anyways. I was quite happy to be over and done with that. But what I was not happy about was the fact that I now have a sedative in my system that technically I didn't need. It was just given to me to calm me down, which technically didn't really calm me down, because it didn't kick in until I actually had finished my procedure and I was waiting for my dad to come. So that was pretty much how my procedures went. I haven't actually been back to King's since. So guys, while I actually have you here, before I even forget talking about illnesses and tablets and trying new supplements, please make sure you guys check out Oxylorum. Now, I have no idea if I've actually pronounced their name right, but what I will do is drop their name right down here. So please, you sicklers, please go and check them out on their Instagram, their website really fills you in. They're really trying to do a lot. You are able to take these tablets with your hydroxyurea, and I actually cannot wait to get my batch to test them out so I can give you guys a much better review. But please do go and check them out. Name down below. Anyways, I'm gonna stop my ranting here because I am actually way over. I was supposed to. I didn't mean to go as far as I did, but I did. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yes, this video was crazy, and I can't believe that all my appointments actually went left. Like, I'm so tired of trying to deal with the healthcare system during this pandemic, and with everything going on in the world right now and the possibility of things changing and maybe going into another lockdown, I'm done. I'm tired, because I know hospitals is where it's just not where you need to be right now. Having to be seen and going through this, it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. So I will see you guys in the next 2 weeks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell down below, and make sure you have everything turned on so you can see me screaming at you. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in with me, and I will be back in 2 weeks, honey.